In sports, muscle joint injuries represent a constant challenge for athletes, especially in high-performance sports, where physical demands are at their highest. In Colombia, the incidence and severity of these injuries, as well as the factors that generate them, have not been exclusively documented. In addition, prevention and rehabilitation programs implemented by physical therapists vary in their effectiveness, which raises questions about their true impact. It's for this that the present research seeks to answer the following question. What is the effectiveness of physiotherapy prevention and rehabilitation programs in reducing the incidence of severity of muscular and joint sport injuries in elite athletes in Colombia during the second semester of 2024? To address this question, the socio-demographic and sports condition of injured athletes will be analyzed. The factors that influence the occurrence of these injuries will be evaluated, and the impact of prevention strategies implemented by physiotherapists will be measured. High-performance sport has grown considerably in Colombia, increasing the need to optimize the physical preparation of athletes and reduce the risk of injury. Injury prevention not only directly impacts the sports career of athletes, but also reduces the costs associated with medical care and rehabilitation. In addition, preventive practice promotes general well-being and promote healthier habits. This proposal adopts a multidisciplinary approach, integrating physiotherapy, sports medicine, psychology, and nutrition to develop innovative programs in the sports field. The collaborative approach between professional strengthens the recognition of the role of physiotherapy in athletic performance. It is expected that the research will provide a theoretical practical framework on injury prevention in elite athletes, supporting the effectiveness and preventing intervention with scientific evidence. Will allow the development of better training and physical care strategies, both in Colombia and internationally. It will also contribute the creation of regulation and protocols in sports physiotherapy, positively impacting both academia and professional practice.
As a general objective, we have to describe the incidence, severity, and underlying factors of muscular and joint sport injuries in Colombian athletes, as well as to evaluate the effectiveness of prevention and rehabilitation programs implemented by physiotherapists during the second semester of 2024. And as specific objectives, we have three. In first place, we have to characterize athletes who have suffered muscle and joint injuries in Colombia, both in recreational and high competition activities, in order to know their socio-demographic conditions, the type and severity of the injuries, and the sport modalities in which they participate. In the second place, we have to evaluate the effectiveness of injury prevention programs implemented by physical therapists in Colombia in the second half of 2024 to determine their impact on reducing the incidence of muscular and joint injuries among athletes. And the third objective is develop and recommend improvements in sport injury prevention and rehabilitation programs in Colombia based on the evidence gathered to optimize injury prevention, promote kinetic wellness, and improve the physical conditions of athletes.
Injuries in sport are a constant challenge. Factors such as poor execution of movements or of certain muscle groups and musculoskeletal imbalance significantly increase the risk of recurrent or chronic injuries. According to Barr, effective prevention is not a generalized solution but must be specific to each type of injury of a sport. This is where physiotherapy becomes a fundamental ally, not only from a biological or mechanical perspective, but also from a biological or mechanical perspective, but also addressing the psychological, social, and cultural aspects of the athlete. The goal is optimize human movement and allow a quick and safe return to the sport, improving their well-being and quality of life. In Colombia, muscle and joint injuries in athletes have increased, which has generated growing interest in evaluating the prevention and rehabilitation programs used by physiotherapists. This story will focus on Colombian athletes, evaluating interventions that combine psychological strategies with a multidimensional approach with the aim of reducing the frequency and severity in injuries. Through descriptors such as elite athletes, Colombia, physiotherapy, and injury prevention, this research seeks to provide practical solutions that improve the health of performance of athletes, addressing their specific needs and promoting their overall well-being. Sport physical therapy is constantly evolving, influenced by advances in research, technology, and deeper understanding of injuries. Increasingly, physical therapists are taking a holistic approach, using techniques that address not only the physical but also the psychological aspect of sport injuries. This multidimensional approach is key to maximizing recovery times in improved athlete performance. In recent years, the importance of incorporating psychological strategies into rehabilitation program has been recognized. As recent studies point out, understanding an athlete's mental state can have a significant impact of their recovery. Factors such as mental resilience, self-confidence, and adaptability are essential in facilitating of smooth transition to competitive sport, and physiotherapists have a key role to play in working this aspect into the rehabilitation.
The methodological framework about our study have a research purpose. This research purpose applied searching aims to analyze and evaluate how physiotherapy, like muscular strengthening, flexibility training, postural control, that interventions can prevent sport injuries and enhance performance in Colombian elites. Also, the study design used a descriptive explanatory cross-sectional design to uh, capture the relationships between the physiotherapy and injury prevention at a single point in time. This approach enables an in-depth look at the immediately and lasting impact of the performance. The population that we are impact are elite Colombian athletes in high performance sport with a high risk of injury. So it's athletes aged 18 to 35 years currently competing and with a history of injury in the last year who have received physiotherapy. Our variables is the first independent are types of physiotherapy interventions and frequency and duration of the sessions. The dependent variable is the injury incidence, severity, and physical performance improvement. And the control group are age, gender, sport discipline, and previous injury history. Our hypothesis, a structured physiotherapy program will significantly reduce injury rates and improve performance to compare that strength curve. And also, we can go this with intervention that this structured methodological aims to deliver and finding a physiotherapeutic role in sports injury prevention. So we are providing athletic outcomes that shaping the future and research of that impact on the esports and the athletes.
Okay, and in addition, the main purpose of the study is to evaluate how the preventive physiotherapy intervention can reduce both an incidence and severity of sports injuries in athletes. But on the other hand, the research is based on the explication that after implementation of the test intervention, not only will decrease is that the number of injuries, but unobserved, by also improvements in sport performance and the self assessment of the physical condition of the adult will be revised that the attributes, taste objects, and describe and the scientific analysis will they be used calculating injury frequency in a different group. At the adults, analyzing variables show the recovery time and injury severity taught measures for the means and standing deviation. And in addition, to evaluate the specific impact of the intervention injury satisfaction, thus the test will be applied for the example, test for parent samples and analysis in variables, ANOVA, in order to compare the result obtained for the after intervention. The study acknowledges that the limitation will be the simple science, giving of the focus on elite athletes. So the subjects that explain the study group of the conduct but the expected result will also the possibilities that explore and influence on psychological factors and injury prevention and the performance and will allow for physiotherapy intervention to personality according to the needs of the each sports discipline.
Finally, that ethical and environmental considerations are the ethical standards to follow the Declaratory of Helsinki grids to protect the well-being rights and dignity of the participants that ensure informed consent, the confiability, and the right to withdraw without the consequence implement of the ethical standards to the conduct trading session for all members of the research then of the ethical principle and principal rights that are that ethical standards and the environmental consideration are principality the data protect the data protection standards to comply with data regulation of AG GDPR, including the data security and the anonymization of and confidentiality. That implementation of this data protection create and inform the consequence from the daily the study, the objectives, the methods, risks, benefits, and the principal risks.